Sean Diddy Combs could be kicked out of the courtroom. That's the warning from the judge in Combs' sex trafficking trial to his defense team.
Week 4 of Sean Diddy Combs' racketeering and sex trafficking trial is wrapping up. There has been disturbing testimony from more than a dozen witnesses. Jurors have seen graphic images and videos, sex tapes, alleged injuries. There have been controversial text messages that have come into play, but with no cameras in the courtroom, no audio equipment in the courtroom.
Did the companies of Sean P. Diddy Combs, Bad Boy Records, Sean John Clothing, Revolt TV, Combs Global sell entertainment, clothing, and liquor products? Or was it all a diabolical front to peddle in the bodies and souls of unwitting men and women buying illegal substances to keep them in a dazed state with lots of baby oil and laced alcohol? Was it all a global criminal enterprise focused on satisfying the bizarre, disgusting vice of the dark diddler? That's pretty much what Diddy's prosecutors are trying to prove. This case shows why it's always the best practice to keep your nasty personal life separate from your business life. Using business money for illegal personal activities puts your company at great legal risk and will send investors and legitimate business partners running from you. Sean Diddy Combs, the hip-hop mogul who once ruled the charts with glitzy music videos and larger-than-life parties, is now battling a legal tsunami that threatens to dismantle his empire. The accusations? Sex trafficking, racketeering, and coercion, all wrapped up in a case that feels more like the plot of a Hollywood thriller than a federal trial. For weeks, witnesses have taken the stand in a high-stakes legal showdown, peeling back the carefully curated layers of Combs' larger-than-life persona. The prosecution alleges that his extravagant world, filled with private jets, luxury mansions, and star-studded parties, wasn't just about excess and swinger lifestyles. It was, according to federal prosecutors, the front for a criminal enterprise that thrived on power, terror, and silence.
Jane, who was described during the prosecution's opening statement as a single mom who fell in love with Combs but was then forced to perform in similar episodes, you wonder, based on her testimony right now, does it support the transportation to engage in prostitution charges, right? Was she flown to different areas to perform sex acts with sex workers? There's an argument that it supports that. But does her testimony as of right now, and there's a lot more she's going to get into, does it support sex trafficking?
When prosecutors hit Combs with Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO, charges, they weren't just accusing him of personal misconduct. They were painting him as the mastermind of a structured criminal network. To convict under RICO, the government must prove that, number one, Combs led or participated in an organized enterprise, Combs Global and Bad Boy Records. Next, at least 2 predicate crimes occurred within a 10-year span, such as sex trafficking, drug distribution, and witness intimidation, for instance. And finally, he knowingly used his empire to further his criminal activity. Now, that's where things get murky. Combs' defense team insists that while his relationships were volatile, they were personal, not part of an orchestrated crime ring. Prosecutors, however, argue that the evidence points to something bigger than just reckless behavior. As if the ego of the diddler trying to influence jurors to the point the judge scolded him and warned him he'll send him back to prison if he looks at jurors again wasn't enough, several witnesses have presented disturbing accounts. Former assistant Capricorn Clark claimed that employees were routinely ordered to clean up crime scenes, including every nasty bodily fluid imaginable on walls and ceilings. Yuck. Silence victims and intimidate rivals.
Diddy Combs could be kicked out of the courtroom. That's the warning from the judge in Combs' sex trafficking trial to his defense team. And a highly anticipated witness who dated Combs in recent years testified yesterday under the pseudonym Jane and described a relationship fueled by drugs and sex. Music mogul has pleaded not guilty to the federal charges against him.
Cassie Ventura's lawsuit resurfaced with allegations of drug-fueled coercion and violent retaliation against those who oppose the diddler. Even rapper Kid Cudi took the stand, revealing that after a disagreement with Combs, his Porsche was firebombed, an act prosecutors suggest was a classic gang-style intimidation tactic. One example of gangster behavior was testified to by Brianna Bana Bongolan.
Sean Diddy Combs' team is once again asking a judge to declare a mistrial in his sex trafficking and racketeering case. Defense attorneys claim prosecutors presented false evidence alleging Combs dangled a woman from a balcony in Los Angeles in 2016, saying that they can prove he was in New York City at the time.
She said that during an altercation in 2016 at Cassie Ventura's apartment, Diddy picked her up by the armpits, held her over the balcony railing, and yelled, "Do you know what the F you did?" before throwing her onto the balcony furniture. And it appears he used Ray J presumably as one of his trusted agents to facilitate illegal substances, something he denied. I guess Diddy was watching that movie Scarface one too many times. He should have been focused on watching legitimate business videos on YouTube instead. And then there's the testimony from alleged victims, one of them identified as Jane. Apparently, 50 Cent seems to know who she is, according to rumors, and himself as well, who described hotel nights, lavish but sinister freak-off gatherings where attendees felt pressured into drug-fueled encounters under Combs' control. At some point, she became so exhausted and disgusted with the endless bedroom marathons that she sent the diddler a photo of her fresh tampon soaked with monthly red bodily fluid. Ugh. And he still wanted her to perform, turning the bedroom into a brothel with monthly red rum juice everywhere. Ugh. Oh boy. And there were other times she said he didn't want her to wipe up the nut juice after one of the male escorts unloaded his fluid on her body. Oh, how low can this go? Brace yourselves. Diddy wanted to play in that stuff, before he smashed her. So he wanted it still to be on her, not wiped off. Damn, Diddy. You know, I think it's time to be celibate after hearing all this nasty-ass, disgusting crap. All of this, bankrolled by his corporations according to prosecution. Sounds like his business was really PIMP with male escorts and his so-called girlfriends as freak-off employees who got little to no breaks between these disgusting acts. The witnesses said these bedroom sessions last sometimes several days a week. How many true businessmen have that kind of time to waste on such violent nonsense, paying huge settlements from company money after having demonic temper tantrums? High-profile figures have escaped legal consequences before. Think Harvey Weinstein's early years or R. Kelly's initial denials. But Diddy's case has something different. Video evidence, financial records, and witness testimony that build a pattern of control. If convicted, Combs wouldn't just be guilty of personal misconduct, he'd be legally classified as the leader of an organized crime ring. What happens next? As the trial approaches its final stages, the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted, Combs faces a maximum of 15 years to life behind bars, and his assets could be seized under RICO forfeiture laws. If acquitted, civil lawsuits may still push forward, and the public damage to his legacy could be irreversible, and really it is. Settlement talks? Some legal insiders speculate that Combs' team may move to quietly negotiate deals before things spiral further. The verdict isn't just legal, it's cultural. Regardless of the final judgment, this case is forcing a reckoning within the entertainment business world, where Diddy is not the only one to use corporate money for illegal activities, though he went to the extreme, to the demonic extreme. If federal prosecutors successfully convict Diddy under RICO, it could reshape how celebrity-owned brands are scrutinized, raising tough questions about the blurred line between luxury and abuse. One thing is certain, the legacy of Sean P. Diddy Combs is being rewritten in real time, and it ain't good. His business legacy is pretty much destroyed. Until the next video, brothers and sisters, take care.